Oh man, I didn't want to tell you I was a Redskins fan too, bro, but sorry about
You a Redskins fan?
that.
Oh, bro. Well, first of all, they the Commanders now. I don't know how long you've been how long you ain't been a fan or have been a fan, but you know they the Reds. I mean, they're the Commanders now.
Bro, I can't. My mom always says that, bro. They're always the Redskins. Like the Commanders just sounds like a whack name. So in my heart, they're always the Redskins. Whatever. My fault.
Facts. Bro, I'm excited. I'm excited to have you on here. We now officially live on YouTube and streaming. And for our listeners who are tuning in, who are excited about this conversation, we got Mike Busby in the building talking about how you can make more money doing what you love, doing what you are already skilled in, doing what you are already an expert in, and pretty much helping you transition from that 9 to 5 life into that side hustle life, into full-time ownership and business owner, entrepreneurial life as well. So, Mike, before we get started, I definitely want to give you the floor to just kind of introduce yourself, tell our listeners a little bit more about who you are, a little bit about your upbringing and how you're the guy to talk to when it comes to, putting together offers and identifying ways to make money in an area of your expertise.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, first off, Key, I want to say thank you, bro, for giving the opportunity, help give some value here. So we about fired up, man. Let's get it. Let's get it. But yeah, guys, what's up? My name is Mike, and my story really isn't like too much crazy from anybody else's. I grew up in Maryland, 2-parent household. My mom and dad raised me. Unexpectedly, when I was 13, my dad passed away from type 2 diabetes. So when my dad passed away, my mom, she pushed that 40-40-40 plan on me. Go to college, get a good job, that job till you're 65, retire off 40% of your income. So I did it. Like, cool, I'm with it. I probably worked maybe 6-7 jobs, Q, since then. And when I left college, I worked as a hotel manager for about 6 years. And I remember like only making like 40K per year. And I was like, this is not enough money to like do anything fun with. So I remember like applying, bro, like each and every year for a promotion. And I got denied every single time because I wasn't buddies with the manager. And it made me realize, bro, like, damn, in order for me to make more money, I got to be cool with someone else. So I couldn't really have control of my income. And that's when I started going online. And I was like, all right, how do you make more money online? I
Great.
started.
That's a strong starting question to ask, right?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, man. 'Cause I feel like a lot of folks have kind of gone through that path where you realize like what you're currently doing is not working. So you go to like YouTube University and then go down that rabbit hole. And that's how it starts for a lot of people. You feel me?
Absolutely.
But yeah. I went down that rabbit hole. I tried like 2 or 3 e-commerce businesses. I went into 30K of credit card debt from just effing up, not knowing what I was doing whatsoever. And going down that rabbit hole, bro, I met my mentor, Nehemiah Davis. And that's when he put me on to high ticket closing. I was like, what the hell is this? And it was basically having simple combos over the phone and closing deals for 10, 20, 30K. And when I started doing that, my whole life just went like 180 quickly. And I paid off that 30K of credit card debt 4 months. I went to Brazil the month after, my brother Neo. I had my first 10K month after that. And then I just started making more money after that. And like the past 12 months, I made 245 grand when I took my taxes. And now I'm starting teaching people how you can make more money by having simple combos over the phone and serving people. But it's crazy, bro. Like L after L after L after L till you finally get that one W. And then that's what's kind of like the pivot point for me for learning that high income skill.
Right. And so when you hit that question online, how to make more money online, right? And you fall into that rabbit hole, what were some of the emotions that you were going through and how did you not get discouraged from, walking into these dead ends, walking into this, this new route that seems promising and didn't work out in the long run? Like, how did you keep yourself going after going down these different routes in this rabbit hole that can almost seem like a never-ending path to nothing for some people?
Yeah, man. Yeah, you can try so many different businesses. There's so many out there, right? Like drop shipping, Amazon, you go for days on it. But for me, bro, like I started doing a reselling because you know who Gary Vee is?
Yeah, of course. Hmm.
Yeah, he had this thing called the 2017 Flip Challenge, where like you go to like garage sales, you flip like toys, video games, stuff like that. And that's what kind of got me all into it. But to answer your question, what kind of kept me focused on that was I actually had my roommate at the time, and he was doing like marketing and copywriting. So we both started our entrepreneurship journeys together because he worked at a hotel as well. I was working in a hotel. So simply put, man, it was just really having somebody go through that journey with me.
Hmm.
You know how they always say, if you want to go fast, go by yourself. If you want to go far, go with a team.
Hmm.
So just having someone like kind of do it side by side. And I really do think like no bull, had I really had done it by myself, I would have quit easily, like no question
Right.
about it.
Right. That's a great point. And I remember just like and this, I actually did something similar to this just like my freshman year, like joining all the different programs that I joined and the organizations that I joined in college. I remember the biggest thing and the biggest difference between the organizations that I stayed with and I thrived in versus the organizations where I'm like, I don't know if I want to keep doing this, was having that conversation with one of my closest homies in college and be like, hey, Neef, you want to, try this with me? And him either being like, and nah, I'm not gonna go for that, or hey, yeah, let's rock that together. And then those are the ones that we both kind of like stuck out and stayed true to, throughout the entire, career of our college experience. So I could definitely you see what you're saying by like doing something with like a close friend or even an associate, like starting something with someone else. You got that friendly competition, you have that accountability, you
Mhm.
have those therapy sessions when things get hard and you just need to talk it out with that person, like, bro, are you going through the same thing? Because I'm having a hard time. I can see how having all three of those in one with that person can make a big difference in sticking out in that experience.
Yeah.
So for you now, fast forward, you started doing high ticket closing with Neo, and is that what started to open up the experiences of you seeing, okay, now what can I do with this? When did you start to like transition, if any, from the high ticket closing?
Yeah, man. So so before I was doing like reselling and I was just like
Hmm.
flipping stuff online, and it wasn't working. Long story short, it got so bad to the point to where I actually had to go back to work because I actually left my job. I made decent money, so I left my job, entrepreneur, like F it, I'm gonna do it,
Hmm.
figure it out. And I went in so much credit card debt, I had to go back to work, and it was like the worst feeling you could possibly imagine. Like you get so high and mighty to kind of come back down was tough. So
Hmm.
that's when I met Neo, or I met Neo prior, but that's when I reached out to Neo to really get going with the high ticket sales stuff. And that's when that transition started because I was working my 9 to 5 job as a hotel manager during the daytime. And at night, I was taking calls. So from like maybe 4 p.m. to like 9 p.m. at night, I was taking sales calls. And that's when I was making like, $500, $1,000, little stuff like that. And it's cool with high ticket sales, you make 10% off each deal you close. So if a deal was 10K, you make 10% of that, which is 1,000. So you can see how, like, with the right number of deals, you can make 2, 3 grand a week easily.
Hmm.
And it got to the point to where the money I was making in high ticket sales exceeded the money I was making as a front desk manager. Cause I was only making like 3 grand a month doing that. And that's when the pivot started to where I was like, okay, my time is best suited toward building a high income skill with Neo. They're working a job. And then there's like a crazy story, like how I left that job and went to Brazil. That's a whole different story. But yeah, yeah. That's how it first started. The high income skill money exceeded the money I was making as a front desk manager.
Right. I wanna really hone in on that term that you used a couple times, which was the high income skill. So we got a lot of people who are tuning in and joining us, who are working a 9 to 5 and are currently like they're they're not necessarily happy, but they're really good at what they do, right? And even for people who are looking at a job and they might see this job as a dead end, right? What kind of like mentality do you have to adopt, Mike, as far as starting a new job or being at your current job and try to look at it from the silver lining to be like, I can use this to help me sharpen my high income skill before transitioning to that full-time entrepreneur or business owner? As far as developing those skills, what does that mindset look like, and what are some practices that people should have to develop that high income skill?
Yeah, man. You know what, Q, that something that really bothers me, bro? You know how entrepreneurs, they really shit on the 9 to 5 thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my God, you got a 9 to 5 job. You need to get your ass out of there. You're wasting your
Yeah.
time, yada, yada, yada. I really think, bro, that first, everyone's not meant to start a business, like offer it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are working a 9 to 5 job, the best thing you could do is like use those skills to basically start your business or start your skill set. Like, for example, when I was a hotel manager, I don't know if you've ever been to a hotel and maybe they didn't have the room ready yet.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you got to the hotel and you booked like a king size bed, but they give you a queen size bed. And you're like, what the hell?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those little minor things that kind of just tick you off a little bit.
A little bit, right? But I was always the guy to come out and like have to like ease the situation. You
Mm-hmm.
know, this is my anniversary, sir. You're ruining my whole entire day. How is the bed not ready yet? And I would have to use my like listening skills and be like, hey, sir, I understand where you're coming from. Sympathize or empathize with them. I understand this is what's happening. We apologize. How about we do X, Y, Z instead? Which is a huge basis behind sales, which is what? Hearing the other person, right? Like listening to what they're saying, coming up with a solution to fix their problem. So a lot of what I learned at the job as a hotel manager, I transitioned into sales, and even going one step further, um, a lot of people, man, you know how people are always trying to figure out a way to network with like high status individuals. It's like, how can I get in a room full of millionaires? How can I meet these people? I'll share with you, man. When I first met Neo, he's a great guy, but very, very unorganized. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs are just like go, 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 go. And when I was a front desk manager, I worked a lot with like payroll and spreadsheets and Excel data and stuff like that. So I'm pretty decent on the spreadsheet tip. So when I started working with Neo, I started handling his payroll at first and being able to like organize who's getting paid what, who's getting paid this. So being able to add value from that standpoint of just being like somewhat organizational was huge for him. So to answer your question, there's so much that you can do to add to a current business owner, like maybe not even starting your own business, right? I'm sure for UQ, you probably have some things that you just genuinely need help in your business. So maybe someone listening can be like, dang, I can add this value to Q, build value, build relationships, stuff like that. But to keep it short and simple, whatever you currently have that you're good at, I promise you, there's an entrepreneur out there who sucks at that thing that you could also add value to them if you didn't want to start a business, but just maybe network or just give back or add value to.
That's a good point. And just to kind of even add on to what you said, Mike, you're right. You do kind of get that feeling that entrepreneurs, whether and it's mostly the new entrepreneurs. It's mostly the new entrepreneurs who really have that attitude of like shitting on people who are still working a 9 to 5. It's like, oh, you still working a 9 to 5? Like, you're not going to find any freedom at the 9 to 5. You're not going to find this. Like, nothing. The 9 to 5 can't provide you anything that you need, and it's really discouraging to the people who have no plan to even make that step into entrepreneurship, to make them feel like that the job that they're working is the dead end. And just kind of hearing you talk, Mike, I started to kind of get um, I started remembering that there's other work. Like, so we always talk about entrepreneurship, but very rarely do we hear people talk about entrepreneurship and
Mm,
the fact of being an entrepreneur inside of an already developed business, and AKA the job, and just taking that job and having an entrepreneurial spirit. I'm like, okay, what can I improve in these systems? How can I add the most value? How can I continue to sharpen my skills and become the best version of myself while at this job? And I think when people look at it from an entrepreneurial perspective, they'll be able to start to look at their jobs and like, okay, I'm going to make the best out of this 8 hours by identifying new problems, trying to fix those problems, and becoming the best version of myself while in this 8 hour time period. And that's a great way, like you said, to develop I think that might be the best way to develop those high income skills, and then which you could, I guess let's transition there. Like, what are the opportunities? Like, once you identify what your high income skill is, like, what are the opportunities that start to open up for you in terms of like employment, business opportunities, networking opportunities? Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, man. And you're right too, bro. I almost got that word. It's entrepreneurship. What was it again? It's and
Entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship.
yeah, I like that. I like that because you're adding value to businesses. And
Mm-hmm.
but to answer a question, you know how like growing up, we always had the mindset of like how many hours do I need to work in order to like make this amount of money?
Yeah.
I don't know. Every time I got like a new job, I would always like pull out the calculator. If I worked, all right, 10 hours a day at 12.50 an hour, that's going to be like $500 a week then. And that's how I kind of broke down the math.
Mm-hmm.
But what I really think is so cool, bro, about either starting your own business or doing consulting or helping other business owners is that you're now paid for the value that you give. For example, like I hired a videographer like 3 weeks ago, right? And I paid him $4,000 for a 2-day shoot for about 200 pieces of content. Paid him $4,000 for this. And he has a lot of different clients. And I talked to him, I thought about it, and I was like, bro, if he gets 5 people to pay him what I just paid him, that's 20,000 right there, like
Mm-hmm.
$20,000, which is way more than anyone would make at a 9 to 5 job. And that what I think is the real benefit of either being in sales, high ticket consulting, starting your own business, whatever it may be, is that you control your income now. Right? Like it's so much easier to have 5 people pay you 10K at 50,000 a month than for you to be like a CEO of a company working like 90 hours a week. Working smart, not hard. So that's the one thing that I think is so powerful, that if you're at a 9 to 5 job, you want to start your own consulting business, it's so much easier to have, like I said, 5 people pay you 5K for 25,000 than you working those 50 hours a week, making 5,000 for that entire month then. So that to me is the biggest thing, man, that transition of the mindset of working way smart and not as hard anymore. And that's what I love about like sales and what I do. Like to make 3,000 in a week is not crazy compared to what I used to have to do as a hotel manager.
Gotcha. So it's like now what we're talking about, Mike, is kind of like the in-between space between working a job, striving to climb the corporate ladder, becoming the CEO, working all these hours to make a sustainable amount of money to where you can be comfortable. And then on the other side, you have the becoming a business owner, starting a new business, having to hire people, having to, train people, have to pretty much create a product or a service, all the things that come with starting a business. So where now we're kind of talking about the in between, which is, making the business actually you. You are the business, and that business is, like you said, consulting and providing value to businesses that need solutions to whatever the problems are that you are most qualified to solve. Is that right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, 100%. Like I said, if there's any value Q I can like really help people with, it's like that change of mindset from going from like the hourly mindset to now you being consulting, starting your own business. How many people can I get to pay me X to make this? Like we talked, I think when we talked about like David Shands and podcasts and stuff like that, and how like he charges people like 10K to hop on a podcast. If he gets 10 people to pay him 10K, that's 100,000 right there.
Right.
So as a new entrepreneur, like that's the shift in mindset. And I'm sure when we talk to guys in our circle, like we always just break down the math. Like how many people do I need to get to pay me XYZ to make this amount? So I would just challenge anyone listening to just kind of change your mindset to think about like that in terms of how to make more money.
Let's say you're listening to this and you're still working a job. How would that shift the mindset be beneficial to you if you are actually working an hourly or salary job?
Yeah. I mean, it can go 2 ways, right? I mean, the old saying is working, what can you do when you're not working a 9 to 5 job? I mean, your 9 to 5 job is really only 8 hours. And like I said, for me, my 9 to 5 was the hotel stuff, but my 5 to 9, that was the high income skill stuff. So even though, while for sure, work your job, go hustle, grind, I think the next question is like, what are you doing after you get off work? Like,
Mm.
what are you doing? Like, though, I'm sure you probably asked something similar, but like, that's the real money making hours right there. So to answer your question, Q, I think it's just coming down to, all right, what am I going to do to get 2 people to pay me $1,000 when I'm not working?
Mm.
And finding that skill set or consulting or whatever it may be, because you could do a whole lot within 5, 6 hours. It's crazy. Like when I was taking calls, bro, I would probably take maybe 5, 6 calls, out those calls, close a deal for at least 5K and make $500 just like that when I wasn't at my 9 to 5 job. So yeah, it's just starting that thing while you're not working.
That makes sense. So what were some things that you were doing, bro, to kind of like organize yourself, organize your mind, prepare your mind to make that transition from, okay, the clock hits 5 o'clock. It's time for me to clock out of this job, drive home, and then clock into this next job, which is, the life's work, the high income work. You know, how did you organize yourself to make sure that you were the most productive and the most efficient with that time instead of, maybe, doing 30 minutes here, taking a call, texting people, being on social media, watching some Netflix shows, like X, Y, all the things that can be distracting when we come home from a long day of work and we have everything we enjoy in our home. Like, what were some practices that you were doing to kind of make yourself really disciplined in that area?
Yeah, man, that's just a great question, Q. Because can I be real with you though? Like a real honest statement.
Yeah, facts, facts. We need those real answers.
All right, let me keep it 100 real fast, bro. Here's the thing, right? For a lot of people, Q, the pain isn't great enough for them. The pain of the 9 to 5 job isn't strong enough for them to start working on their side business afterward. Meaning that a lot of people are very comfortable in what they're doing. And with what I do in sales, right? You're either running away from something or running to something. So a huge reason why, at least for me, that I was working pretty decently after I left was because I hated the front desk. I did not
Mm,
like being there at all, especially when I had to go back to work. That was embarrassing.
yeah.
I already had a taste of like the freedom, like not working. I'm like, this sucks. I don't like dealing with these people. I don't like being at the front desk. I had to wear a suit. I hate wearing suits. I love wearing sweatpants all day. So like that pain was very, very great for me. And even now, when I don't feel like doing something, I always remember like how much I hated just having to talk to people about stupid front desk stuff.
Yeah, like customer service. Like what you do with sales is not customer service. It's you have a customer service type of tone, but you're not handling customer service problems.
It's customer service in a sense, but I'm getting paid way more for it.
Right, right, right. Facts.
You pay me 20 grand for this, I'm all set. But yeah, man, to answer your question, I think for a lot of people, the pain's just not great enough. For example, if you ever had a toothache, right? That toothache freaking hurts. You go to the dentist immediately trying to fix the problem ASAP. And at least for a lot of people, the pain's not there. But what I'll say to help someone is if it's not pain at your job, then it has to be excitement then.
Mm,
For example, let's say like Christmas Eve, right? Most kids are excited as hell on Christmas Eve. You're about to go downstairs, get the Christmas gifts. Maybe you know where your parents hid the gifts at. You're upstairs looking for all that stuff. So you're excited. You go downstairs, open the presents Christmas Day, like you are fired up about this. So maybe replacing that type of excitement for your business. Oh my God, bro. I know if I just work at this for like 3 more months, I'm gonna be in Bali with some shorties, drinking a Mai Tai. Like the excitement is what's propelling you to actually go out and do what's after work essentially. So that's what I would say to help anyone, Q. It's like either you're gonna run away from something, the pain, or your mindset is just like, I'm so excited to do XYZ. And that's what propels you to
hmm.
work. You're done working.
That makes sense. So it's like the pain for most people, the pain just isn't great enough, and for others, the excitement is not great enough. You're trying to dive into something that you truly aren't excited about. you just might have seen it on Instagram or you seen it on Facebook, and you see that other people are making a lot of money in it, and like, oh damn, that's easy. I want to jump into that too. But that excitement really not there because it's not really a passion. So you either have to have one of the two things or both that are really going to inspire you to take that immediate action into this high income skill and developing that skill. So once you have the skill now developed, what are the next steps? Like you have this skill developed, you feel super confident that you have this highly valuable, high income skill to now give to others and be of service to others. What comes next?
Yeah, man. Can I give like a real gym cue? And this, I wish I learned this a long time ago, actually, is you want to have a skill that helps business owners. I'll repeat that one more time because I think this is truly the key right here. The high income skill, it has to be a B2B and help business owners. Here's why. You guys tell me who has more money, the business owner, or let's say the 9 to 5 person goes to work, makes good money, yada, 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 right? I'll give you a hint. It's the business owner. Business owners have the money to pay you whatever your fee is, consulting, whatever like that. They know about business credit. They know about funding. They have credit cards ideally. So to answer your question, Q, it's really, if the skill set should be around serving business owners. And then once that kind of is identified, then you could charge whatever. For example, like I said, I paid $4K for a photographer, for a videographer. I know as a business owner that the content that he produced is going to get me probably 4 or 5 clients to pay me 5K easily. So 20, 30 grand will be made off the content. And for me to pay 5K, y'all are smart people. If I invested 5K to make 30 grand, would that be a good investment? Right? Of course. Mm-hmm. So to answer the question, man, the skill set just has to be around that right there. A business owner can rationalize spending 5, 10K. The average 9 to 5 person cannot. Maybe, a couple thousand perhaps, but that's something I truly wish I would have thought about earlier. Because when I was reselling, I was like flipping stuff to the everyday person. Toys, video games, stuff like that. I wasn't making real money. But once you find that skill set, guys, it's just, how can I transition this to help a business owner make them more money or save them more time? Those are the 2 biggest things. Make more money.
That's a great gem, bro. And I appreciate that, Jim, because that also is going to save a lot of people a lot of time if they really tuned in and really hearing what you're saying. Because before, if I'm totally, absent to this, and I heard Kai or if I heard Mike just say, yeah, get a high income skill, I could be trying to get a high income skill in anything. But once you say that high income skill needs to serve business owners, now that helps me even more focus on which high income skill I want to develop and not focus too much on a skill that's going to help, 9 to 5ers be a little bit more organized, or it's going to, help them save money on, manufacturers or something like that. But more so something that's going to help the business owner that's already making 100, 500, $1 million a month, that are doing pretty big numbers. So that's a deep gem that I appreciate you sharing. So
even less than Q, I think not even people who make a lot of money, like the average business owner, right? Like people in our circle, right? People are doing maybe 20, 30, 40 grand a month, whatever. Not even that. People doing like 10 grand a month probably, or 5 grand a month. They want to make more money, but for every business to make more money, they have to invest in something.
Right.
You ain't going to see an increase in your income by just doing nothing. And I truly do think for a lot of people, they would invest $3,000 to make 10,000 easily. If you're good at social media, shooting video, I keep saying the video one, because that's the easiest one in my opinion. Like videography.
Because right now content is booming.
Yeah, that's the easiest one in my opinion. Like someone would invest $3,000 to have like high-end content that could get them more clients, more marketing and stuff like that, even if they're not making like crazy money a month.
That's a great point. That's a very great point, and I could see how that would be the easiest one to think of as well. Even just from coming from that space, my mind automatically went into creating content or something along those lines as well. So once you now have you have the skill, you identified how to provide the value, who to provide the value to. Where do you find these people? Like, are they hiding in certain like clubs, or do you need to go to certain networking events? Like, where do you go to find these business owners? And of course, you can be general because everybody's niche is going to be different. But I mean, where should I start if I'm just like trying to just look to network with some business owners that I could potentially help?
Yeah, man. I mean, shoot, we met at the gym, right? I think it could be almost anywhere, man. Like joining the gym is probably the easiest, in my opinion. If you're into
Mhm.
fitness, working out, a membership that's over $100 a month, something like that. Being around places where people have to spend money to enter,
Mhm.
so there's like a barrier of entry is always a good idea.
Mhm.
Maybe going to a conference, you have to pay 100, $500, maybe $1,000 to go to a conference. Being in those VIP rooms, VIP at a conference where it's only people who could pay $1,000 to be certain places. And even
Mhm.
not, let's say you don't even want to spend $1,000. Like I said, just even going to anywhere where someone has to pay to attend.
Mhm.
You'll find folks who are probably qualified, who are business owners, obviously. And the easiest, bro, is just
The
social media,
phone.
right? So,
Yeah.
the phone, social media out there, if you have a really decent profile of what you're doing or how you're helping people, you DM the right person, they see your profile, bam, that's it right there. They call social media for a reason, right? You're being social. So I would say those are the two biggest things. Uh, Going to a gym where there's a barrier of entry, going to a networking event where you have to pay to attend, or just using your phone to DM people and adding value like that. Because just last thing I can tell anybody is truly, man, everybody wants to make more money. Every business owner wants to make
Mhm.
more money, every person. And every person wants to save more time. So you send someone the right DM, shoot, someone DMs you, Q, yo, bro, I'll come in right now. I'll shoot all your film for your podcast then. I'll post on social media for free or to help add value. You would probably answer pretty fast. If someone would probably do all the posting, everything for you, you'd be like, let's talk. What you got?
Mhm.
Right.
Facts, facts. Well, hey, Mike, and the most efficient or the first thing that comes to mind when you kind of went through that spiel was just creating win-win situations
Mm,
for for people, for yourself and others. If it's a win-lose or if it's a lose-lose, then it's like not even like don't even bother, investing time into it. It's like you should be trying to focus on investing your time into situations that you can create win-wins for yourself and for the person on the other side of that agreement or that contract or that deal, what have you. So, Mike, man, it's been a blessing having you on here, just kind of chopping it up with you and giving our listeners some gems on what now do you have to focus on. If you're a 9 to 5 or you're somebody who is new to the entrepreneurship game and you know that you're getting ready to make these pivots, you now know what you need to think about and how you need to move over these next 6 months to really transition and prepare yourself for developing these high income skills and to accumulate abundance in your life. So Mike, before I let you go, bro, what are some closing like if you could just leave our listeners with one thing that is going to get them from destination from their current location to their end destination, what will be that gem that you can leave them with?
yeah, man. If there was one gem, honestly, Q, it's really going to be this quote that my brother Neil always says. And he always says, your current situation is not your final destination.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever is happening in your current life, guys, you may be taking L after L after L right now. I want you to remember that truly where you're currently at is not where you'll be at this time next year. And the best way for you to change is for you to change within here. And the easiest way, in my opinion, to also change is to just be around people who have already made the change. The fact you're listening to Q right now, you want to change. And if you want to be around people who are better than you, add that value, help them make more money, save more time, anything you possibly can. But just do your best to get around people who are like 2, 3, 4 levels ahead of you. And that's when you'll see a crazy increase in your income, impact, and influence. But yeah, current situation is not your final destination, and be around folks who are light years ahead of you.
Right, right. I love that. And speaking of being around folks that are light years ahead of you, and sometimes that we look at the light year and we think the light year has to be money, right? And I just kind of want to bring it together with what you're saying, Mike, and help people understand that it's not always money. Look past the money and just look at mindset as well, because sometimes, like you mentioned, people could have a skill that is your weakness. People can have immense amount of knowledge and understanding on something that you were totally ignorant to before you met them. So look at that and really consider who you building this new table with, because we always look from the from the outside looking in. We want to be like, I want to sit at their table when they already have their table built. They already have all the seats filled. So it's like you're gonna be waiting a long time. So just really pay attention to who you're surrounding yourself around, and focus on building a new table with those people. And with that said, I mean, I'm sure you can attest to this too, Mike. We are looking for people, 10. I'm looking for me personally, I'm looking for 10 side hustlers that I can help build a new table, with and for. So if you're looking to build a new table for yourself and bring in your village, bring in your community, like being on this call was the first step, but definitely make sure you tap in with us and lock in. The link in the description is going to bring you to our Side Hustle Academy community. And we're going to even have Mike come back for a full in-person episode. We getting, even more, we giving out even more game that's going to help you get from A to B, whatever that looks like for you. So I love what you said, Mike. Your current situation is not your end destination. So guys, keep that in mind. And while you keep that in mind, remember to keep focused, build momentum, and drive results so you can live abundantly. I'm Kai Speaks, and you just heard from Mike Busby. We out.
Let's get it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, so I just ended the live stream.